Okay, ready for the next one?
No, you have to. You can't just say Tyreek Hill's. You can't just say Tyreek Hill's not a Hall of Famer and then not elaborate and move on. You have to explain that.
I think, like you said.
What's going on, everybody? This is episode number 43 of the Harvester Sports Podcast with your hosts, your boys, Noah
And Austin.
I almost mixed things up and said your name. I almost about to say Noah and
Noah and Austin. Hey, everybody.
They're not ready for that. They can't handle it. Well, we should start introducing each other. Be like, and this is Austin.
Yeah.
And you say,
this is not.
and I'm an Aries.
My dad told me to mention this on the podcast. He says he has beef with us now. He said,
I got beef with him.
Yeah, he said he remembered.
What about it?
Two things have happened. He said he got Vietnam flashbacks of the first time he was on, and we called him a friend of the show.
Did we say something like that?
Yeah, we called the very first time he was on. I think I called him a friend of the show.
Yeah, but you're saying something else happened recently?
Yeah, he said that reminded him, and he said when he was at the golf tournament, some guy said, are the Harvester Sports guys here? And he said, do you mean my son? And the guy said, yeah, where are they? And didn't want to talk to Dad. He wanted to find us. And he said that made him feel like he has beef with us now.
And then whoever that was, you proceeded to fumble the bag and not having me on the podcast?
Probably. It might have been Kyle Lowry, I think. Over this past week, right, Devontae Adams came out and was talking about switching from Aaron Rodgers to Derek, and he said, anytime you change QBs from a Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, it's going to be a little bit of adjustment. Of course, this brought a lot of, people fighting on Twitter and stuff, and I'm not going to ask you if Derek's a Hall of Famer or not, but instead, I'm going to ask you if some of these guys are Hall of Famers that are currently playing in the league, okay?
Number one, Derek Carr.
Number one is Derek. And then Derek, please come in.
Derek comes in and sits right here. Noah, am I a Hall of Famer?
But I believe if you...
After your first game, you were a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I knew when you were drafted. So we're going to start with offensive players. I have quite a few, so we can run through it pretty quick. Okay? First off, I'll answer with you. DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
Yes, I think so too.
First ballot.
AJ Green. I don't know why I laughed at that. AJ Green.
I don't remember his stats, but yes.
Yep, I think so too. Matt Ryan.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Odell.
No.
I don't think so either.
I mean, in theory, he could still make it, but based on what's happening.
Yeah, right now, I don't think so either. Zeke.
No.
Yep, I had to throw in a Cowboys guy there.
I don't think... See, there's some of these guys where I'm like, the rest of their career, they could do something. Mm-hmm. I think it's unlikely that he'll put together a Hall of Fame.
What's wild is the list I was looking at where it was like, here are some guys that could be Hall of Famers for each team. They had Zeke at 80% Hall of Famer. I said, let's...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I said, let's breathe.
Well, how many seasons was it that he was rushing for over 1,000?
I don't know, but I know that he recently said, like, this is his year. So
That this is?
Yeah.
I mean, when's his contract gone? Because Pollard could be the... Oh, Actually, now that I'm looking at the stats, this is interesting. This is actually interesting. I mean...
Potentially could be a Hall of Famer.
7,400 yards and 56 touchdowns over 6 seasons is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Averaging well over 1,000 yards a season. He could find himself. I don't know.
He could find himself stumbling into the Hall of Fame.
It's just weird because I don't see his... I mean, I don't know. Maybe his best days are still to come.
Yeah, maybe he's right. Tyreek Hill. I do not think so.
What's good?
You go my bad. You go first.
No, I'd like to hear that. No.
That was rude of me. You go first. You think so?
Based on what he's done right now, not necessarily, but by the end of his career, I think he will be a Hall of Famer, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think there's a chance that
you can't say yeah after you just disagreed, and then when I say
yeah?
Do
you think there's a chance that Tua could ruin it for him?
No.
That's good. I'm glad he could survive Tua. If he can survive Tua, he can survive anybody. Actually, we're good on Tua here. I don't mean to hate on him. I don't want to join the hate on Tua for no reason. Okay, ready for the next one?
No, you have to. You can't just say Tyreek Hill's. You can't just say Tyreek Hill's not a Hall of Famer and then not elaborate and move on. You have to explain that.
I think, like you said, if he continues to do what he's done, I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. But I don't think he's going to pick up where he left off.
I don't think he's going to do as well in Miami as he's done on the Chiefs. But I don't think he has to do as well to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's already pretty. I don't know. I think it's very unlikely to me that he'll retire and not be a Hall of Famer.
I can't wait. I absolutely flamed in the comments for that one. As I was saying it, my brain was like, the words are coming out. What the hell? I was like,
the thing is, you could take it as there's multiple sides to it. Raiders fans bias being like, oh, Tyreek Hill's not that.
Yeah.
Or I'm a Raiders fan. I've seen Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, exactly.
Run all over us. I've seen it firsthand what he can do, and he's pretty fast.
We know what the man can do on 3rd and long. 3rd and long. Here comes the touchdown. Okay, Darren Waller. See, Darren Waller's a hard one because he's so good, but he hasn't had that long to play.
No, he will. I think by the time he retires, he will have put together a Hall of Fame resume.
I think so too. I just think it's hard because he hasn't had like that long of playing time yet.
No, I mean based on today, if he retired today, no, he's not a Hall of Famer. But but I mean the past 3 years he's been without a doubt in the top
3, top 2, top 1 tight ends.
top 5, and I wouldn't put him at 4, 3, 2, 5 or
say or 1.
Wait, no.
Okay, Keenan Allen, another AFC West.
I straight up don't know what his stats look like. What do you think, Keenan Allen?
I don't think so.
It rhymes with no.
Yeah, I think it rhymes with no too. Which is it's hard because some of these guys are good, but they can't let everybody in. I mean, I get they could let everybody in, but I don't think Keenan Allen's gonna make the cut.
It's tough because like when I pulling up these guys' stats, it's just the bar is different for receivers than it once was.
Yeah,
I feel like having 1,000-yard receiving season today is not what it was even 5 years ago.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Like
shot.
It's just different.
If you had a 1,000-yard season back in the 50s, you were the greatest to ever play the game of football.
I was trying to think of when the forward pass was invented, and if that
or if you have 1,000 yards before the forward pass is even invented. Okay, this one's a good one. Matthew Stafford.
I think he will retire as a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I think so too. I think he even has a chance to. I think they might make it back to at least the championship game.
Yeah, these next couple years, I mean, it's gonna be. We'll get to see him have weapons again, which I think he'll do well again.
Yeah. Now this next one had a great few years and even an MVP season, but later on in his career, he really started downhill spiraling. People are hopping off on him now. Cam Newton.
No.
Yeah,
so that was too. That was. I'm sorry. That tone was disrespectful.
Yeah, my bad.
No.
But people. Yeah, I agree.
Sorry. Is that how I should have done?
That was better. I agree with people were saying if he kept playing how he was, he could have been a Hall of Famer for sure.
Well, yeah. If Colin Kaepernick kept playing as he was in 2014, 2015, he would have been a Hall of Famer. You could say that for a lot of guys.
Yeah. Okay, Michael Thomas. This one's hard too because I had to look it up. I was like, I haven't seen Michael Thomas play in a minute. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be.
How old is Michael Thomas?
I had to be humbled.
How what?
I had to look at it. I got humbled.
How old is Michael Thomas? Like late 20s? Don't tell me he's early 30s.
I think he might be early 30s.
I feel like he was consistently one of the best not quarterbacks, but one of the best receivers in the league for a minute.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'd say. I mean, I just want to say they're all Hall of Fame. I don't, but I feel like they all.
You just want to have them all have a good time.
Receivers are the position that I have the most
trouble.
difficulty because he's not that old. Okay, but yeah, Michael Thomas is 29. If he, I mean, his career's been short. I'm trying to judge
off of how you're acting. If it's like, yeah, that's a Hall of Famer, not or that's. Yeah, not yet.
1,100, 1,200, 1,400, 1,700.
All right.
But that's just 4 seasons.
All right. And
so but he'll come back and cook.
He'll come back.
Trust. Under famous Jameis.
Yeah, under famous Jameis, the greatest quarterback of all time.
He'll get him the ball.
Yeah. Now George Kittle.
Right here, right in the breadbasket.
Right in the breadbasket.
Yeah.
I think George Kittle also. Julio Jones, the last one for the offense.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll throw in a little special teamer, Justin Tucker.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I saw people
he should be first ballot, and it shouldn't.
Why? When I looked up that one wasn't 100%, and I was mad. They try to be the little like like they're special. They're like, well, it's hard for kickers to get in. I was like, okay.
I agree, but I mean, it is hard for them to get in. But
he is arguably the best kicker of all time.
Yeah, and he's not. I mean, you can't just be like. I mean, whether he gets in or not, I don't know. But there's no world in which he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
It's like he's the best, but it's hard for kickers to get in.
Isn't he gonna retire having like scored the most points?
And he's also going to retire having the longest field goal. Now let's move on to the defensive guys real quick. So another AFC West guy, Khalil Mack. Is Khalil Mack going to be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, he will be.
And bonus question: will he end his career as a Raider?
No, I can lie to you if you want. I can lie. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll sign on one day.
Absolutely, he'll come back for a few years.
I think Khalil Mack 100% also. Myles Garrett.
I mean, I think he will absolutely put together a Hall of Fame career.
I think so too. Jalen Ramsey.
Yes.
Yep, and then one of the younger guys on here, T.J. Watt.
I mean, obviously not yet, but obviously
I think he will make one. Yeah,
as barring some sort of horrific career-ending injury. Yes.
And then Chandler Jones, the new Raider.
Thank you.
Yeah, my bad. For everyone who doesn't know, it's like a little fact check at the bottom. For those who don't know, it's like the Impractical Jokers at the bottom.
Okay, what does it say at the bottom of Impractical Jokers?
Like the little facts. It's like, this episode did
inside
this.
jokes.
Yes, Chandler Jones is a Raider.
I don't know what his stats look like.
I think
I know the past few seasons he's been.
Yeah, and then, sorry, give your answer. My bad.
Got nothing. Nothing else to say.
And then one of the guys that had one of the most like hype around him, but now has fallen off, Jamal Adams. I'm gonna say no for this one.
And that's not personal.
That's not because him and my uncle had beef, and not the uncle you think.
I have no idea. I don't. He's still young, right?
He's still pretty young.
Yeah, I don't know.
And now moving on to a different type of football. Was that what the most?
Did we basically say yes for all of them?
I think the.
Well, no, that just feels especially disrespectful to Cam, but oh well.
No, Odell feels targeted for sure.
Oh yeah, no, Odell, yeah.
There's one man on the list.
Was this you typing out Odell?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Here's me typing out Eli and then deleting it. I was like, don't want to hear this one. There's some guys on here. I was like, oh, I'm good.
You're like, try to what Victor Cruz maybe should be in there by now.
I was gonna start throwing linemen at you too. I was gonna be like Quentin Nelson.
I mean, hey, Quentin Nelson's probably one of the best players in the NFL right now.
It's true. On to another type of football. Is that the most common joke of all time? Common segue. But so 80,000 fans went to the match between Manchester City and Bayern Munich at Lambeau Field. Okay, my bad. Threw a lot of.
What was that second?
Bayern Munich. My bad.
All right.
At Lambeau Field, and now so when I saw the picture, like this stadium, first off, it's weird that they all came over here, and weird that Lambeau was chosen to be the stadium.
Yeah, out of all the stadiums. Wisconsin's gonna hit.
Yeah. Like I thought maybe let's go to LA, but that's fine, right? I got a long drive. But I wanted to know, do you think that with like the rise of MLS and Major League Soccer, do you think that
is there a rise?
I think it's steady. I saw it looks like it's slowly trying to catch up, or maybe that's propaganda from people that love soccer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like most soccer fans don't care about MLS.
Yeah, but
because David Beckham's not in it.
Yeah,
and was that the peak of MLS?
Yeah, that was the peak of MLS when David Beckham was in the league. That's the peak of always MLS when a guy for
no reason takes less money to play in the MLS in America.
And specifically to play in LA. Like, okay. But I was saying, do you think there will ever be a time when soccer in the U.S. is more popular than football, baseball, or hockey?
I think it's probably already is. As the sport is, the sport is already probably more popular than definitely hockey, probably baseball, maybe not football, but not the league of MLS.
That'd be my second question.
It's probably the most played sport in America, I would guess.
Yeah, that was my second part of the question. Do you think the MLS will ever catch up?
Also, I feel so like talking about soccer, you can't ever call it soccer or else you get torn apart online. So football/soccer, and it's like, here's the deal.
Speak, man.
let me say something to all you soccer fans out there. Yes, it is called football. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's how it's known in the majority of the world. That being said, we live in the United States.
We have a football here,
guys. And we have another football. So, for the sake of clarification, and in the context of talking about other sports, calling it soccer is not blasphemous. It's just the name that we happen to call it. I understand that it's called football in the rest of the world. I respect that. It makes more sense than our football being called football.
For sure. It's not a personal attack either. You know, it's not like...
It's just like socially that's what it's called. Yeah, so that's what we call it.
It's not, we're going to call it soccer.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh, this is going to show those... Exactly. This is going to show the rest of the world. We're going to call it soccer.
Here you go, no, it's like...
Brits, that's this. Just for the sake of understanding.
Yeah,
I'd call it soccer because that's what we call it. It's not like it's...
it's not blasphemy. Like, we're not trying to attack you guys.
No, and the crazy thing is, soccer fans or football fans comment anytime somebody refers to it as soccer. The rest of the comment section, actually, it's called football.
Yeah. Like, thanks, man.
In the rest of the world, but we're in the United States, so we call it soccer, and that's just how it is. Like, is that right? No, maybe when they made American football, they should have called it something different. I don't know, but I'm not going to time travel back 70, 80, 90 years and fix that.
That was my one thing. I was like, I'll give it to you. I don't know why ours is called football. Because
I agree with the idea that ours shouldn't be called football. It should just be soccer is called football everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like handball would have been better than football. But again, it's not a person. Like, we're just saying... Yeah.
Pig balls.
We're saying soccer, but there's already a football here, and we're not trying to confuse you guys. What's going to happen when American football is going over there? If there's ever a team over there, they're going to get worried. They're going to go, well, maybe we need to switch the name, and American football is going to become soccer.
That's so wordy to say American football every time.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess they just have to call it, like when NFL teams play in London, they must just refer to it as like an NFL game.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be like, are you going to the American football game?
Yeah, no, I'm going to the NFL game.
Like it's, but then there's two footballs.
Can you imagine if I'm going to the Jags game?
Back to what we were talking about. Yeah. Back to what we were talking about. The thing that attracts people to sports at the end of the day is big faces, I think.
Yeah.
More than the sport. I mean, or I should say to a league. What attracts people to watching a sports league is the people in it.
Yeah,
like the Steph Currys, the LeBron James, the whatever the faces of the league are, and if MLS, I don't know. I mean, it's just the international names of like Messi, Ronaldo, whoever are a bit more of a draw than any MLS name. So I think the only way for it to grow bigger than that is to have household names like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're slowly getting that. They're slowly getting guys. But it's going to be hard still because, like, guys that are coming up, like, from the U.S., like, they're, as soon as they get offers to go play, like, in some of the, like, the Premier League and stuff, they usually go over there. Like, so we lose a lot of our American, like, American-born players. But that's how, like, you're totally right. That's how we're going to grow our sport, is having these, like, faces that everybody knows. Like, everyone knows Messi, Ronaldo, Pele. We all know these guys. I don't think a lot of people can name American soccer players, ever since... Nice. I just proved my own point because I was gonna say the
not men's soccer players.
Yeah, I was say Tim Howard. Remember the goalie? Like, I don't think a lot of us can name any after that.
No, I mean I don't know. Also, I think it's just part of it's just different that soccer is more of an international sport, so it's countries playing against each other. So cities within America and the United States playing against each other is just not. I mean, it's just a completely different thing, and it's not what people are drawn to. Because it's not as there's a cultural aspect to rooting for whatever team you root for.
Yeah, I saw a couple days ago they were having international women's flag football. What if they had like a World Cup, but for
didn't we lost?
Yeah, we lost really bad.
What are we doing?
Like when I saw the score, it was like 33-0, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah, what did we lose? Like, wasn't it Australia?
We lost Australia and I think Mexico.
Okay. Australia, I don't know about Mexico. Australia makes a lot of sense because those are
basically rugby players.
Those are rugby players. Yeah. Those are female rugby players. I don't know if we have as many great.
Yeah, what if we started? That'd be insane. Can you imagine if there was an international like World Cup but for American football, and it was just the U.S. is playing like
the Canadian, whatever the best team in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, just combined. They're just playing each other for that. It's the Pro Bowl versus the world. I also saw that at my bad for jumping the next one so quick. I also saw at Lambeau Field AJ Dillon getting manhandled by a cop trying to do the Lambeau leap into the stands to say hi to some fans, and a lot of people are like yelling at the cop. They're like, how's the cop not know AJ Dillon? I do not blame the cop does not have to know every famous player ever. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his job, making sure people.
No,
aren't
I think
jumping
what it
into the
was
stands.
is what I saw was that there were other security people that had taken AJ Dillon down onto the field and allowed him to come down onto the field, and he didn't see that, or I don't know.
Yeah,
but, like he had permission to be on the field. He didn't just hop down there.
Okay, that's why I thought
that was
that he was just making a tag, and I was like, why is the cop getting in trouble? He's just doing his job. He sees some random dude trying to hop in the thing. He's just
I don't think he was just like streaking. I think he like was welcomed down onto the field. Like they were like, AJ Dillon, come down here, and he did. And then the other security guy.
That might have been worse.
The other ones left, and then he turned on because he was secretly a Bears fan.
He left him behind. He said, "Get him."
do you think when he grabbed what people think when they see the video is like, oh, he didn't have any idea that was AJ Dillon. It was just that was some random guy on the field. What if instead he grabbed him and in the thickest Chicago accent of all time goes, AJ Dillon, huh?
He's whips, go Bears, and just the knees. He slightly twists the knee.
He says, "This is for the Bears."
They take him down into Lambeau. They like tie him up. I got a random question to ask you. Okay, if you heard that one athlete, if there was like
if one athlete died, which would I be happiest to hear?
Yeah, it was Derek. If you heard that there was one athlete that was in a major sport, right, and he was not human and he was actually made in a lab, which one would you be the least surprised that it was?
Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, I didn't even think about personality-wise, but that fits really well.
Oh, you're talking about because they have no, I mean the obvious answer is Kawhi Leonard.
That one fits too well. I was thinking like you're gonna be like, oh, Shohei, because he's good at like everything, or guys like this. You went for the perfect answer.
No, I suppose based on that, it would be somebody that has like the textbook or textbook form. I don't know who that would be.
But Kawhi Leonard was such a good answer. It didn't make too much sense.
Yeah, other than that, I'd say like Paul Goldschmidt. I don't know because he has the highest batting average in the league and he's a textbook hitter. But I don't know.
I would say probably like there's this not well-known guy, Noah Pitcher, Bakersfield High School tennis.
Yeah, no, yeah.
They said he looked like a machine out there when he played.
One of my coaches told me I'm too.
What are you say?
One coach told me that since I'm a white boy, my face gets red as soon as I start running, and then they instantly know I'm tired. So you're basically a machine.
Yeah. What? That's such a weird thing for them to pick on you for, by the way. Like, he's tired. Yeah, we're running sprints, dude. We're literally running sprints right now. Oh, look at this dude, he's tired.
I was like, I mean, it is 110 degrees out, and we're halfway through a tennis match. Like, you don't want to look tired, but like my complexion, I can't help.
Yeah, my bad.
Just red, bro.
Like, wouldn't it even be weirder if you were just perfectly stone cold killer? Like, you walked in, walked out, and when you weren't up, you were just perfectly sitting on the bench. Noah. It's kind of like on the same track of like, you know, who is the perfect athlete, not named Noah. Do you think Shohei Ohtani would be the best? Like, if you had to fill a baseball team or any sport with one player, you think Shohei Ohtani would be the best player to fill out?
Any sport or baseball?
I was going to say you could pick a footballer for football. Or
Oh, yeah. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is the most versatile baseball player probably of all time. Babe. I'm probably a Babe Ruth hater. It is what it is.
Babe?
But, yeah, if you were to put Shohei Ohtani... In theory, if you had infinite Shohei Ohtanis and you put them at every position on the field, and the entire rotation and the entire bullpen with Shohei Ohtani, I think that team wins the World Series.
Yeah, I would agree. He has to be the right choice. There's no way.
That being said, the one kryptonite will absolutely be defensive errors. The shortstop is gonna be rough. First base might be rough.
Mm-hmm.
But other than a couple little infield errors, the outfield is fine. Pitching is fine. Hitting is fine.
Yeah, even I loved what Shohei said a couple of days ago when they asked him who would win between batter Shohei and pitcher Shohei, and he said pitcher Shohei would just have to throw it down the middle.
That's an interesting answer.
But you said as an Angels fan, are you cheese or not cheesing hearing that? You're like,
yeah. If I was an Angels fan and he said you just throw it down the middle, I can't hit it, I'd be like, okay. I was curious, how would you rank these three?
I'm ready.
By how good they are, just like from a fan perspective.
Okay.
The MLB All-Star Game.
Okay.
The NBA All-Star Game. The NFL Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl last.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you say NBA All-Star Game?
Yeah.
I would do...
I guess there's different routes to go, whether you're including the...
Yeah, are we including like the slam... Like
the home run derby, the slam dunk.
Are we including the dunk contest and the home run derby or no?
I guess the whole thing. So you get... Okay. So you get to include the skills competitions in all the sports and the home run derby and the everything. The entire experience of...
Okay.
Rank the entire experience of the All-Star Game in MLB, NBA All-Star Game, and NFL Pro Bowl.
Okay. It's still last is going to be the NFL Pro Bowl. Because even though like dodgeballs, all that stuff is really fun to watch, the game to me like is like not fun at all to watch. That's going to be third for me. Then I think it's going to go NBA. I love the slam dunk contest so much, even though some years it can get pretty boring. Like some years it's like nothing's really better than the 2016 one.
The ones with Aaron Gordon were the best.
Yeah, the Aaron Gordon ones, yeah.
The last two have been underwhelming.
Yeah, so those ones like... So that's have to go there. And the number one is for sure the All-Star Game. Because the Home Run Derby is so much fun. I played the Home Run Derby when we played MLB The Show. I'm just cheesing. But also...
That's what it's like when I hop into a random rank game. It's a Home Run Derby.
Yeah. And in the MLB All-Star Game, they were like, they mic'd up the pitcher.
Yeah,
like, that was
Alec
fun.
Manoah saying, all right, so now I'm going to, like, the live chat being like, all right, now I'm going to throw a slider down and away. And then he threw one right down the middle, said, oops.
He says, when he was asking.
He said, oops, that was supposed to go right down the middle. Oh, well, worked out.
Or when he asked the commentator, he was like, what should I throw here? That's a better one. Like, I think that one's got to be number one for sure. Even though... A lot of people were mad at the Home Run Derby, like the layout and stuff, and the camera angles this year. A lot of people weren't having fun.
I think I agree with those.
Do you think it should just be whoever hits the most home runs wins?
Instead of doing bonus time?
Like the bonus time, the bracket system and stuff like that.
No, I like the bracket system.
Like
the bracket system. I mean, realistically, is it the best to determine who's the best home runner? Probably not, but there is no, like, it's a competition. And makes it a competition.
I saw some people saying, do you think it should be a pitching machine also? Or do you like the...
No, because they get to choose their pitcher. Yeah, if you choose a bad pitcher, then
I love
choose a
just
better
the old dudes out there.
And it's usually like their dad or like their childhood friend. It's always someone wholesome. But yeah, I completely agree with those rankings. I do. And realistically, if you think about why, I would rank them the same, and probably the reason is because that also happens to be ranked by like how much they are holding back.
Yeah.
Because baseball is just the nature of the sport. Baseball is the most difficult one to hold back.
Yeah.
And you're less injury prone. So those pitchers are pitching. Yeah. And the hitters are hitting. Versus football. Football's not really happening.
Yeah.
And then NBA sort of is what it is, but they're not really playing defense.
Yeah.
But baseball is it's just an easier thing with injury wise that you can kind of go more like if you watch the All-Star Game, it seems more like
a real game,
close to a real game, much more than if you watch the Pro Bowl. It's not recognizable.
Yeah, you're totally right. The MLB definitely does the best of making it seem like this is as close to a real game as we can get. Like, there's not, like, you're totally right. There's no way you can kind of, it might be a way, but to me, there's not really a way you can kind of, like, take it that relaxed in the game.
Yeah, it's hard to dog it if you're, I mean, with pitching, I mean, you certainly could.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to throw heat. You could lay off a little bit, which they probably do, but it's still close
you
enough.
Still don't want to be the guy that everyone's hitting bombs off of, in the All-Star Game. That'd be so depressing. You get, like, the All-Star Game, bang, bang. You're like, dang, man.
Man thought he was pitching for the home run derby. Also, I was clean watching Walter White. Do you see Walter White yelling at the ump?
That was so funny, dude. That was so...
I mean, that call was wild.
That call was wild. I hope it was. Oh my gosh, the edits are so funny with the Breaking Bad like song behind it, where he looks at the guy and just starts kick the dirt. The dirt's going nowhere.
In total, by the time there were substitutions made, there were 81 MLB players that were in the All-Star game.
Jeez.
Do you think that's too many or no? Because, I mean, I guess it comes down to by the time there's guys, and this is true of all sports, by the time, I mean, not really NBA, but NFL as well, by the time there's guys that can't play, then you get replacements, and those guys count as all-stars as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that those guys should count as, like, should it be a second thing, like, when you pull up their stats, should it rather than saying they were an all-star or a Pro Bowler that year, should it say like I don't know what it would be, like second
selection
tier?
Yeah.
Because I've heard an argument that it's like that MLB 81 players in a 30-man league is potentially too many. It's not.
I think that's what makes it the All-Star game. You having to choose between which guys to take. That's what makes it. We're having to choose between the best guys who are going to play. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what makes it fun. That's why the NFL is fun, because it's like, oh, these guys are missing out. Where it's like, yeah, because we're choosing between the best guys in the league. Some really good guys aren't going to make it. So I think maybe do cut it down and have like these guys are the like alternate selections. I know Derek's been involved with that, where it's like if this guy drops out, Derek's the next in, and he's still considered like a Pro Bowler for that, which is really weird still. But
yeah, it's just the upside is that when you do that, then there's less players that like get robbed. Yeah. Like Freddie Freeman didn't make the All-Star game, but by the time people dropped out, he was in the All-Star game. And if he wasn't, then people would have probably complained that he was robbed. Yeah. So it's sort of, I don't know, it's tough. I mean, it's just a matter of where you want to set the bar of like the top whatever percent of players get in. But I don't know. I feel like there's no right or wrong number of players to be in. It's just kind of, as long as it's the same every year, I guess.
Like I even like
obviously it's more impressive if there was 50 players instead of 80, but
I really I wish more major leagues would take like the NBA approach and do like the draft and stuff. I really enjoy I like watching that draft, like the All-Star
Do you wish they all did that?
Yeah, I think it's kind of sick, especially when it's a player, like when it's like LeBron and like KD. Like that's fun to watch. Because remember when like Harden just got traded and KD had to choose? Like that stuff's so much fun to watch.
I think I like that the NBA does that. I don't want them to do that in baseball or football.
Yeah.
The year that they did that with Team Jerry Rice and Team whoever.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. That sucked.
Was it Jerry Rice and Dillon Sanders? Was that what it was?
Yeah, I think that's who it was. I don't know.
And those colors were so weird. Wasn't it like brown and it was light green?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know. I like NFC versus AFC and then AL versus NL, but yeah, I don't. But I like that they do the draft for the NBA. But you want them to do the draft for all of it?
I don't know. I just like. I guess you're right. I think it is. It's probably easier because the NBA team is such a smaller team than like the other ones. Because I remember.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but for some reason it feels more. It just feels better.
Because I remember like watching the.
Because it feels almost like they're like. It feels almost like being at like a pickup game, and they're like, all right,
it's just like that would be even better if they lined them up.
If they don't know until they show up, and then they go to the locker room, put their jerseys on.
Yeah, they go, you. No practice, nothing, street ball. I remember like you were talking about when they did the NFL one. Because that part was weird, but then like they got the cool stuff out of the way. And I was like, okay, now left tackle. I was like, okay, well now I don't really need to see this. Like I don't really need to see who Dion's going to take as his left tackle. But yeah, maybe you're. Oh yes, this will be cool. I think I like the draft.
Trade deadline is approaching, and reportedly the Angels have been turning away teams that want to trade for Shohei Ohtani, who next year will be the last year on his contract. And in theory, he won't be re-signing with the Angels. I mean, there's nothing that actually says he won't re-sign with the Angels, but like, why would you re-sign with the Angels? Mm-hmm. What do you think is worse? Because the Angels could either trade him in the offseason. Yeah. The Angels could trade him in the offseason or next year, or they could just keep him till the end of his contract and
let him walk.
And he potentially walks. What do you think is more embarrassing and pathetic for the Angels front office.
Okay.
What reflects worse on them? Having a generational, once-in-a-lifetime talent like Ohtani and letting him walk, getting nothing for him after unsuccessful seasons, or being like, all right, this isn't going to work out, cutting your losses and trading him so you can at least get something in return.
Oh, crap.
Because I feel like there's no great...
Yeah, there's no great answer, because to me, like, I could make an argument for both. Like, letting him walk would be so insane. But to me, it's like, you could push a narrative where it's like, we tried everything. Like, we tried our hardest to get him to stay. Like, we really fought for this guy. Like,
yeah, but it's still like, but then it's like you failed. You had one of the best, phenomenal two-way player, and you did nothing with
I think either way, there's no option where they don't fail, I think. I don't think there's really a bright light at the end of this tunnel for the Angels.
I mean, it's a weird situation because unless they have a great season this next year, technically the smart thing to do is to trade him. Yeah. So that way you can get compensation. And won the MVP last year, so you could get a lot for him. But by doing that, then it's like really, it's like we have this guy and we can't make it work with him.
Can you imagine
we can't
what that
win games
does
with him?
If you're the Angels front office, what that does to your heart, knowing you have one of the best players to play the game in your hands, and you can't convince him to stay, or in your head you're like, he's too good for us, we have to get rid of him. Like, we're wasting him. Like, can you imagine what that does to your mentality? You're just like, this man does not want to play for us. And he's probably, I guess, it looks like he's one of the nicest guys in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, and then you've got Mike Trout that is basically on a contract for the rest of forever,
for the rest of his life.
And he's just poor man.
Because what is that?
Poor man is stuck.
What does that say to your fans if they went the decision of, if they lost Shohei and then they're like, now we're also going to trade Trout, because what does that say to your fans?
We give up.
Like, it's just like, we didn't know. We went through we Doctor Stranged it, every scenario. That's no good one for us right now.
And also, I mean, thinking about where Ohtani could play next, I mean, in theory, he could just be like, all right, I want to re-sign another contract in Anaheim, but I think
that would blow my mind more than any other. No, other than him signing. Like,
I mean, the thing is, on paper, the Angels, they should be
a good team.
They should be better than they are. I mean, as we saw by them being one of the best teams in baseball for the span of a month or two until they went downhill. But
we personally watched their downfall. We personally watched them lose to the A's, and that's when it started spiraling. I just can't imagine being in the A's front office, I can't imagine being in the A's front office either. But I can't imagine being in the Angels front office and being like, there's nothing we can do.
Also, thinking about what team Ohtani could play for, I think he's probably a West Coast guy, but all right, hope he is, because the idea of if he, let's say the Yankees traded for him, that would break my heart to think about Ohtani working in the Bronx. There's so many mean people over there.
Yeah, there's so many mean.
Or Boston, it's just not.
They're be so mean to that man. That's so facts. But here's shock value alone. He gets traded to the Yankees. Okay. Dodgers.
I mean, they're one of the teams that they have everything to give. The Yankees always buy players.
I'm just saying shock value alone. Yankees. All right. Dodgers. All right. Him signing back with the Angels. Huh? That's the one that would be like, excuse me, Shohei. What are we doing, man? Someone's got to talk to the man. Maybe he just really likes Anaheim.
I think he does. Orange County's a.
If you're Mike Trout and Shohei walks or he gets traded, do you start to be like, get me out of here? Or you think you're already in that
try
point?
To request a trade? It's...
What do you think?
I don't know.
He's at the point
it's really unfortunate. I think all baseball fans would agree that it's honestly really kind of sad the way that Mike Trout has... that the Angels have failed Mike Trout.
I feel like it's almost at the point where it's like, people wouldn't be as mad. It's always like, oh, the Dodgers got this guy, Yankees got this guy. If he went to a playoff team, people would be like, good, finally.
Well, I would say Mike Trout coming to the Dodgers is almost like Matt Stafford being traded to the Rams.
I got it's thinking about Mike Trout in a Dodger jersey, by the way. I almost threw up.
I mean, it's like at that point, Angels fans cannot. I think if Mike Trout were to request a trade, Angels fans should not be upset about that.
No,
he's given it
as a what teams can't be mad? As a Jags, Angels, A's, Falcons. If a star player demands a trade from your team, Texans, you just have to be like, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some teams where you just be like,
what's it like? Especially if he's given it. I mean, like that's like Mike Trout's been there. He's been there for forever too.
He's given his all. You know, there's only so far you can carry.
there's only so much 1 out of 9 batters in the lineup can really do.
Can you imagine? He just goes home at night and he's just like, he said, "This is my life." Obviously, his life's amazing. He's a major league athlete, but still, like he just goes. He's like, I couldn't be anywhere else.
Another question I had was Anthony Rizzo, Yankees first baseman, currently Yankees first baseman after being in Chicago for a while ever. Mm-hmm. He is by far. Anthony Rizzo, by far, has been hit by pitches way more than any current player. He's number 11 on the all-time list. He has been hit 191 times by pitches.
At what number would you be like, this is intentional?
Well, no, I mean, it's his fault. I mean, if you look at, like, the list, it's all players that are, like, he stands incredibly close to the box. Yeah. Like, he's crowding that plate.
Any slight movement above that ball.
But, like, is there a point where you're like, let's get to 200? Like, are you hoping to rise up those?
He's almost turning to, like, Nate Diaz, where you watch him to be like, Nate Diaz is getting messed up right now. He's bloody, but it's like, keep going, Nate. Like, he's got a dog in it.
I mean, it's like, that's out of all this, I mean, Anthony Rizzo has had a good career, but it's not like he's anywhere up there with like all-time hit leaders, all-time batting average leaders. Yeah. So when he retires, the highest list he'll be on is hit by a pitch, which is just kind of a funny like. You're like that was the mark I left on the MLB.
Yeah, it's like, Dad, what were you known for in Major League Baseball? Let me tell you. And he just pulled up his shirt, just where it's gone. Can you imagine, dude, like what?
Yeah, do you think when his kids play baseball, is he just yelling, wear it, don't duck out of the way again?
Yeah, if he passed away and like thousands of years went by and like some archaeologist found his body, they'd be like, oh, this human's evolving. This his ribcage is probably it's probably so weirdly messed up.
If you conducted an autopsy on him after he died, would you think that
this man was in a train accident?
He was shot with like cannonballs or something?
You would say, oh, this is a 15th century man who was hit with a cannonball. You're like, oh, this man was ran over by a train.
Shout out David Ortiz for making the Hall of Fame. Congrats.
Shout out, man. Congrats.
Hop on the pod.
Yeah, we were rooting for you.
You know, in the World Series, his batting average was 455. Is that good? That's wild, bro.
Do you know what I really want to know while we're on the topic of baseball? I lived in New York. I was in the lunchroom circles with the Yankee fans. I know how they really think, and a lot of the time, they were very suspicious of Derek Jeter, like some people are, saying he's overrated. But they were like, it was like saying Voldemort. They're like, but if other people say we can't say it, I was like, see, it was like someone else would come in, and it's like when someone attacks your hometown. It's like, I can flame Bakersfield, nobody else can flame Bakersfield, right? So it's like, yeah, he's a little bad at, you know what I'm saying? But then like other people would come and be like, he's the greatest Yankee to ever play.
Yeah, is it like Yankees fans? None of them would ever publicly say Derek Jeter's overrated, but
they would never.
Down there, like,
but in the quiet of the lunchroom, I would hear whispers of it. It was like a fairy tale.
But I mean, the whole concept of being overrated is weird to me because it's like, it's like you're being punished for being like Derek Jeter becoming like the captain and like the face of the Yankees for forever. Mm. Like it's not like he should be punished for that. Yeah, like that's why he's regarded higher, and so it's like. Although I mean the comparisons between him and A-Rod are really interesting. But
yeah, I don't think the being overrated attack crowd has ever worked. Because if you ever heard of someone being like, this guy's overrated, they brought up the stats, you're like, he is a bum. Like I don't think it's ever worked.
Right. Well, that's the thing is where it's like,
where I'm like, okay, sure, but it's still a great player.
Yeah, I mean the term overrated when referring to first ballot Hall of Famer, all time great players like Derek Jeter is weird because it's like, yes, you can prove to me that you can prove to me that he made a lot of errors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That he was by no means a great fielding
You can
shortstop.
show me the stat sheet, and I'll look at it and agree those numbers are there.
Yeah, he made a lot of errors at shortstop. That being said, it's like overrated. I don't like. That's a weird thing to say because he is still the captain.
I'm like
regardless of whatever errors he made.
I agree. I see on the stat sheet that there's a lot of errors there, but again, I'm still gonna go home on YouTube and watch his walk-off RBI.
Like overrated compared to like if somebody says like he's the greatest player of all time, then they're overrating him. But
for sure.
I also feel like there's so much disagreement on where he falls that you can't be like he's overrated because there's no conclusive rating for where he is.
The rating is between he's a great player to he's the greatest player of all time. So it's all in here somewhere.
I'm curious from Yankees fans and from baseball fans,
speak your mind.
What player they think is more overrated, Derek Jeter or Babe Ruth?
That's good.
Because I think I know which one I would say.
That's good. I think I know too.
All I'm going to say is there's one of them that would play a lot better today.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
Not just because one of them's dead.
All I'm saying is there are stories of that man eating hot dogs and snorting coke and then hitting baseballs. Do you think that man would survive? That's probably where the mentality came from. Baby was like, physically, I cannot run to second, so I need to hit a home run.
I mean, hey, David Ortiz got inducted into the Hall of Fame today, and Big Papi was not run to first that fast. Like, that's still a Hall of Fame career.
Do you remember
it is what it is. You got to be good at least one of them.
Yeah, it's almost like the greatest movie of all time, Moneyball. Do you remember the very end where he's showing him the bigger guy? And he's
that hits a home. That didn't know he hit a home run. And he's like stumbling all over the place.
When I first watched that, I was like, I don't really get what the point of this message is, but all right. It's like he hit a home run. I'm like, okay.
Like, changes everything.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. Now we are a good team again.
Also, let's say you're a manager of, let's say, the Red Sox, and let's say you lose a game 28-5 against the Blue Jays theoretically. What would you say in the clubhouse after the game? What did you say? I don't think I say anything. I think I get in the car.
There's no speech that can save you from the tweet that says touchdown Blue Jays. Like, that's the worst ones you see. Or it's like 14, it's like touchdown Blue Jays. I'm like, oh man. Like, there's no tweet to save you from that.
When they had Sydney Sweeney was pitching throwing out the first pitch of that game, the chick from Euphoria.
Yeah.
And when people are saying put her in, have her pitch. I was like, man, she probably wouldn't have given up more than 28.
No, first off, that just blew my mind that for some reason, why was the chick from Euphoria making the first pitch?
Every once in a while, there's some random people throwing out first pitches. She might be from Boston or something. I don't know. Maybe she bad luck.
No, because I remember being at in Bakersfield at whatever game it was, and they had someone coming from the first pitch, like, Farmer. I'm like, all right.
Well, at the Bakersfield Blaze game?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's...
I'm just like, it's like Farmer Johnson. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, man. Do you think you think you just go home in the car? You don't talk?
I mean, what can you say?
I think I would walk up and I'd be like...
not your day.
I'd walk up and be like...
I'd be like, hey, we scored 5 runs today. That's, like, enough to win a lot of games.
No, if I'm the manager, I'm probably sending a text, like, in the car, like, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Like, that's the extent to my speech.
We're running foul poles tomorrow.
Oh,
boom, 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 boom. Running.
I'm reading out everyone's batting average tomorrow.
Well, it's tough because if you're, like, 28-5, if you're down by that many runs... Like, you've lost the game. So if you're that pitcher in there, you're not getting pulled. Yeah. Because that's just, you've already lost the game. You're just going to waste the bullpen if you pull them and put someone else in. So you're just in there getting lit up.
And can you imagine if you look to the dugout begging to get pulled and your manager's like, he's like, that's you, bro. He's like, this is going on no one else's sheet. This is all you, big dog.
I mean,
I just love that they probably came in, no. Please, he's dying out there. Let him learn. He has to understand what it's like. A fun thing to think about. I don't think, sports player athletes from like back in the day. I don't think stuff like this. He could be the ugliest man we've ever seen in my life. We would never know. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like this, or like that, like. Like, that's just like a representation of him. Like, if we don't have full on, like, back in the day, we don't full on pictures, he could be the ugliest man you've ever seen in your life.
Could I ask you when you think the camera was invented? Because there are absolutely pictures of Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. This isn't a Renaissance painting.
Can you imagine if it was Lou Gehrig and it had like the frills? Like frills and leaves like this.
If our only representation of Babe Ruth was like one of those like Greek statues they did.
Our only representation of Clay Matthews is that. The one year.
If you had prime Shaquille O'Neal on your NFL team, what position would you put him at to be most effective? What position would be best at?
Probably fullback.
Really? Fullback?
Do you think that man...
I mean, on the 1 yard line, he's getting in the end.
Yeah, and I think if you put it back in the day where he could use his hands a little more, no one's tackling him.
I was going to say D-end, he could be effective.
Can you imagine just if
I mean, if he could get his arms up and swat a ball, too.
Oh, yeah. Like... That would be so insane trying to just block that man. Because he would get in his stance. You could see full chest and up from behind the line of scrimmage. Shaq, just like this.
Yeah.
Just looking at you. Would you rather take...
Fullback might be the best one.
I think fullback might be the best one.
I'm certainly not putting him at...
I'll put my QB.
Wildcat.
Would you rather blindside tackled by Ray Lewis? Or...
No. Or get killed or get murdered by him.
No. Would you rather, or everything amputated? Would you rather blindside tackle Ray Lewis or Randy Johnson fastball to the ribs?
Definitely Ray Lewis tackle. Well, am I wearing pads?
Yeah, you're wearing pads. You're in a game.
It was gonna be Ray Lewis either way, but that makes me feel even better about the answer if I'm wearing pads. That's something that is at least that's supposed to happen to a human being in the game of football. Getting hit by Randy Johnson fastball is not supposed to happen to anybody.
Why? When I asked DC8 that, did he say it would look like the Mortal Kombat X-ray where it go and the ribs would just explode? Can you imagine if you just look? It would freeze frame again. Just go, yep, that's me, and the ball's here. And you're like, oh, here we go.
No, what happened to the bird would happen to me.
Can we say, though, real quick, I had some beef with Swaggy, Tyler, on the podcast. This was like a month ago. He ran into my room saying, why did you and Noah take the 3D printed thing off the set? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you guys took it off. I was watching the podcast.
He was watching like episode 3.
Yes, and then he brought his phone to me. He's watching episode 3. It's like, dude, we are deep in like 42 right now.
He wasn't confused by me being like, I think the Lakers got a good shot this year. Like, this team is really coming together.
He's like, it's a lot of veteran talent.
me being like, I like the Vikings this year.
Guys, Westbrook is going to take us places. Do you know what it is? It's Shark Week.
No, I'm never watching Shark Week.
Oh,
Literally, like a year or two ago, Morro Bay was on Shark Week about how many great whites there are. You think I watched that?
I love it.
It said, today on Shark Week, we're looking at how many great whites are in Morro Bay. I said, no, we're not.
I walked in on Papa Car watching Shark Week one time, and it was talking about his home of Santa Cruz. And I was like, why are you watching this? And he's like, you have to know your enemy.
No, you don't. It doesn't matter what you know. You just...
What did he plan on doing?
Okay.
Real quick, though, this is nothing sports related, but there's nothing scarier I can think than a shark attack. Because you, like, the feeling goes to my body, if you're just waiting, you see it, like, right before it happens.
I think it's rare that you see it, though. It just happens.
But what if you just saw it coming?
Hot take. No. I was gonna say hot take. Shark attacks aren't that bad.
Uh-huh.
I disagree with myself. But all I'm saying is if it's not coming or it is coming, you don't see it coming and then you're in shock. Do you think is there pain or are you just like...
No, I think instantly. Because always at Shark Week, they're like, I felt something hit my board and I look and my leg's gone.
And you're like, and you probably pass out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could swim back.
But they always say like they retro and then they pass on the beach. I'm like, okay, great. Sand sharks, leopard sharks, we see them all the time. They're pretty chill. They just leave. You'll see them, man.
Yeah, but they can kind of look a little big.
They can look a little bit. When you see
it is interesting. Like there's like a while ago I was in Morbay. I was surfing. I was on a wave, and I looked down, and he was going.
Yeah,
like
that's the best.
I said, interesting.
That's the best. Fun stat for you. They say if you are a like avid surfer, you've been within 5 feet of a shark that can eat you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, they're there. They're out there.
Do you feel safer when you surf personally when there's a lot of people in the water or when it's just you?
It's not. It's more about it's because there's nothing about being scared of sharks that's like a rational thing. It's just like whether you're in your head or not.
Yeah.
And when there's less people out and it's cloudy, the sharky vibes are more difficult to like get out of your head.
Yeah. Like
if it's stormy out and like it's just harder to shake the sharky vibes.
Like when we went and we were surfing like a couple weeks ago, I wiped out when I was underwater. For some reason, I heard the record scratch like in the movies, and I was like, if I see a shark, it's like, yep, that's me. And that's just it, big dog.